The key still turned the lock the same way. After 3 months in Paris. After 10 years of marriage. After everything. The lock hadn't changed. Neither had the penthouse. The same marble foyer. The same stupid crystal vase I'd picked out from that gallery in Georgetown. The same silence that had been living here long before I left for that residency program. I dropped my bag by the door. Leo was with my mother in Richmond for the weekend. I'd planned to surprise Maddox. Come home early. Maybe even fix things. That was the joke. That was always the joke with me. He was sitting in the living room. In his dress uniform. The blue one with all the medals. He only wore that uniform when he wanted to look official. When he wanted to look like General Maddox Stone instead of just Maddox. The man who used to make me pancakes on Sunday mornings before the army stole him completely. And beside him, on my couch, in my house, sat a woman I'd never seen before. Blonde. Polished. The kind of expensive that doesn't need to announce itself. She wore a cream blazer and her legs were crossed like she'd been sitting there for hours. Comfortable. Like she belonged. I stopped in the doorway. Maddox. What's this? He didn't stand up. That was the first thing I noticed. My husband of 10 years. The father of my child. Didn't bother to stand when I walked into my own home after 3 months away. Sarah. His voice was flat. Official. Sit down. No. I didn't move. Who is this? The woman smiled. It was a practice smile. The kind you learn in medical school when you have to deliver bad news. I'm Dr. Vivian Cross. I work with Maddox at Walter Reed. Work with him. I looked at Maddox. Work with him how? Maddox ran a hand over his jaw. He'd shaved that morning. I could tell because there was a tiny cut on his chin. I knew that cut. He always nicked himself when he was nervous. But his voice wasn't nervous. His voice was rehearsed. Sarah, this isn't working. You know it. I know it. We've been pretending for years. My heart was doing something strange. Not breaking. Not yet. Just preparing. Like a muscle tensing before a punch. Pretending. I repeated. You're never here. When you are here. You're working. Your designs. Your sketches. Your career. He made air quotes. Air quotes. My husband made air quotes around my career. And I'm never here. When I am here, I'm exhausted. We're roommates. Sarah. Roommates who happen to share a kid. Roommates. I was still standing in the doorway. Still holding my bag. Still wearing the travel clothes I'd thrown on at Charles de Gaulle 12 hours ago. You waited until I got back from Paris to tell me we're roommates. Vivian uncrossed her legs. Leaned forward slightly. Sarah. I hope you understand. Maddox needs someone who understands his world. His sacrifices. The military isn't just a job. It's a calling. And the person beside him needs to support that calling fully. I stared at her. Then I laughed. I didn't mean to laugh. It just came out. A short, sharp, ugly sound. You're sleeping with my husband. And you're giving me career advice. Vivian's smile flickered. Maddox stood up. Finally. Sarah. He picked up a manila envelope from the coffee table. Thick. Heavy. Legal. Sized. I've had my lawyer draw up papers. I'm not trying to screw you over. You get the house. The car in the garage. And $5 million. Tax. Free. I already set up the transfer. The house. I looked around the living room. The vaulted ceilings I'd painted myself because he said hiring someone was a waste of money. The windows I'd dressed in silk drapes I designed specifically for that space. The kitchen I'd renovated while he was deployed and he'd barely noticed when he came home. You're giving me the house. It's in your name as of this morning. He held out the envelope. Just sign. I didn't take it. And Leo. Maddox's jaw tightened. That was something. At least that was something. Leo stays with you. Primary custody. I'll have visitation every other weekend. And 1 month in the summer. Visitation. My voice was quiet now. Very quiet. You want visitation with your own son. Zara. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. I looked at Vivian. She was watching me like I was a specimen. Like she was diagnosing me. Probably writing a mental prescription for Xanax and a good cry. I smiled at her. Then I walked across the room, took the envelope from Maddox's hand, and opened it. I read every page, every clause, every legal term designed to protect him from me. It took maybe 10 minutes. They sat there in silence. Maddox checked his watch twice. Vivian smoothed her blazer 3 times. When I finished, I looked up. You forgot something. Maddox frowned. What? A pen. Vivian's eyebrows went up. Maddox blinked. He'd expected a fight. He'd prepared for tears. For screaming. For me to throw something. I'd thrown things before. A plate once. Back when we were first married and he'd missed our anniversary because of a training exercise that turned out to be a poker game with his buddies. He reached into his breast pocket, pulled out a Mont Blanc, the one I'd given him for our 5th anniversary. He handed it to me. I uncapped it, signed my name on every line. Zara and Vance. Not Zara Stone. I'd kept my maiden name. He'd hated that. He said it made him look weak. When I finished, I capped the pen and set it on top of the papers. Then I walked to the hallway closet and pulled out the overnight bag I kept there for emergencies. What are you doing? Maddox asked. I'm getting my son. Leo is at your mother's. I was going to pick him up tomorrow and explain. No. I turned to face him. You don't get to explain anything to him. You don't get to tell him that mommy and daddy are splitting up because mommy worked too much. You don't get to write that story. Maddox. I'm taking Leo. Full custody. No visitation. You want something real with Doctor Vivian here. Then let me and my son be free of you. Vivian stood up. Her composure cracked just slightly. You can't just take full custody. A judge will never. I stepped close to her. Close enough to smell her perfume. Chanel No. 5. The same perfume I wore. That wasn't an accident. Nothing about this woman was an accident. Dr. Cross. I said quietly. I've been married to a general for 10 years. Do you know what that means? It means I've spent a decade navigating men who think they're untouchable. I've watched senators beg my husband for favors. I've had 4-star generals apologize to me for their manners. I know exactly how this game works. And I promise you, you are out of your league. I grabbed my keys from the bowl by the door. Walked out. Didn't look back. The drive to Richmond took 2 hours. I called my mother on the way. Told her I was coming. Told her not to ask questions. When I got there, Leo was asleep in the guest room. He was 5 years old. Small for his age. His left arm ended just below the elbow. He'd been born that way. Maddox's first words when he saw him were not "he's beautiful" or "I love him." They were, "will this affect his ability to serve?" My mother was waiting in the kitchen. She looked at my face and didn't say a word. She just poured me a glass of wine and sat across from me. He left me. I said, for a doctor. A military doctor. Blonde. Polished. The whole package. My mother took a sip of her own wine. Did you cry? No. Good. She set down her glass. Crying is for funerals and paper cuts. Not for men who were never worthy of you. I laughed. It was wet. Almost a sob. But I held it together. I signed the papers. My mother nodded. Smart girl. I took full custody. No visitation. Now her eyebrows went up. He agreed to that. He didn't agree. I just said it. I'll fight him if I have to. My mother reached across the table and took my hand. Her hands were old now. Veiny. But strong. She'd been a single mother too. My father left when I was 3. She never remarried. She always said she'd already had the best love of her life and she wasn't interested in settling for less. "Zara," she said, "you are going to be fine. Do you know why?" "Why?" "Because you were fine before him. And you'll be fine after him. Men like Maddox don't break women like us. They just remind us why we don't need them." I woke Leo up at 6 a.m. He rubbed his eyes and said, "Mommy, where's Daddy?" I sat on the edge of the bed, brushed his hair out of his face. "Daddy and I aren't going to live together anymore, baby. But you and me, we're going on an adventure." His eyes widened. "An adventure. Like pirates." "Exactly like pirates." I kissed his forehead, but with better clothes. He giggled. That sound. That beautiful, pure, uncomplicated sound. That was why I signed those papers so fast. That was why I didn't fight. Because Leo deserved a mother who wasn't drowning. And I'd been drowning for years. We drove back to the penthouse to pack. Maddox's car was gone. Vivian's too. The divorce papers were still on the coffee table. Signed. Witnessed by some notary whose name I didn't recognize. I packed our things in 2 hours. Clothes. Toys. Leo's drawings. My sketchbooks. My sewing machine. The rest of it. The furniture. The art. The stupid crystal vase. I didn't care about. Things are just things. And I'd learned a long time ago that things don't love you back. As I carried the last box to the car, my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "You're stronger than I expected. But strength isn't enough. He'll forget you in a month. Enjoy your adventure." Six stared at the screen. Then I typed back, "Enjoy my leftovers. Sweetheart. Just remember, he cheated on me with you. One day, he'll cheat on you with someone younger." That's not a threat. That's a pattern. She didn't respond. I loaded Leo into the car, buckled his seatbelt. He was holding a stuffed octopus he'd named Captain Barnacles. He held it up to me. "Captain Barnacles says he's sorry about Daddy." I kissed the top of Leo's head. "Tell Captain Barnacles we don't need to be sorry. We're going to be just fine." And I believed it. Not because I was naive, but because I had no other choice. 6 months later, I was on the cover of Washingtonian magazine. Not the back page, not some tiny sidebar about local fashion designers. The cover. My face. My name. Zara Vance. The woman D.C. can't stop talking about. The headline was cheesy. They're always cheesy. But I didn't care. Because 6 months after signing away my marriage, I had built something that was entirely mine. Zara Vance Atelier started in my mother's guest room. I'd moved us there temporarily while I looked for a new place. My mother didn't mind. She loved having Leo around. And I loved having someone to watch him while I worked 16-hour days. The idea came to me in the middle of the night. I was sketching. I always sketch when I can't sleep. And I kept coming back to the same problem. Leo's arm. His beautiful, perfect, different arm. He'd started asking questions. Why his sleeve was always too long. Why buttons were so hard. Why other kids stared. And I thought, why isn't anyone making clothes for kids like him? Adaptive fashion existed. Sort of. Velcro closures. Elastic waistbands. Ugly. Clinical. Depressing things that screamed disability instead of style. I'd spent 10 years as a military wife being told to fit in. To be smaller. To be quieter. To make myself acceptable to people who would never accept me. I was done fitting in. The first collection was small. 10 pieces. 5 for kids. 5 for adults. Magnetic closures hidden in beautiful seams. 1. Handed zippers that actually worked. Pants that could be put on sitting down. Shirts with openings that looked like design features instead of medical necessities. I launched with a website. A Kickstarter. And absolutely no idea what I was doing. Marcus Chin found me 3 weeks in. He walked into my mother's guest room. which was now covered in fabric swatches, patterned paper, and half-finished garments, and said, "You're Zara Vance." I was knee-deep in a silk blouse prototype, thread stuck to my sweater, coffee cold on the table. Last time I checked. I'm Marcus. I used to work at Goldman Sachs. I quit because I hated everyone I worked with. He handed me a business card. "I want to help you scale this." I looked at the card. Marcus Chin. Strategic Investments. No company name. Just his name and a phone number. "Why?" I asked. "Because I have a cousin with cerebral palsy. She's 23. She's never owned a piece of clothing that made her feel beautiful." He sat down on a stack of fabric bolts. "And because I read your Kickstarter page, you're not selling clothes. You're selling dignity. That's $1 billion idea." I hired him on the spot. 6 months later, the Kickstarter had raised $400,000. We had a waiting list of 3,000 people. And Washingtonian had named me one of their top 40 under 40. The photo shoot for the magazine was at the Kennedy Center. They put me in a gown from my own collection. Emerald green. Silk charmeuse. With a cape because I'd always wanted to wear a cape and no one could stop me now. The photographer kept saying, "Yes, yes. Give me power. Give me fire." I wasn't acting. The fire was real. The night of the D.C. Women of Power Gala. I stood in front of my new apartment's mirror and adjusted my earrings. The apartment was in Georgetown. Small by penthouse standards. But mine. Every piece of furniture. Every painting. Every book on the shelf. I'd chosen it. No one else. Marcus buzzed from the lobby. "Car's here. You ready?" I was born ready. "Cheesy. You hired me for my cheese." He laughed. "Fair. Let's go." "Boss." The gala was at the Willard Hotel. Crystal chandeliers. Champagne towers. Every powerful woman in D.C. packed into one room. Senators. CEOs. Supreme Court clerks. Nonprofit founders. And me. I walked the red carpet alone. No date. No arm candy. Just me in my emerald gown with my cape flowing behind me. The photographer from the Washington Post called out, "Zara, over here. Who are you wearing?" I smiled. "Myself." He laughed. Took the picture. It ran the next morning with the caption, "Zara Vance, founder of Zara Vance Atelier, proves that the best accessory is confidence." Inside the gala, I worked the room. Not because I wanted to, because I had to. This was business. Every handshake was a potential partner. Every conversation was a potential sale. I was talking to a senator from California about adaptive fashion in schools when I felt it. That prickle on the back of my neck. That animal instinct that someone was watching. I turned. Maddox stood by the bar. In his dress uniform. Of course. And beside him, Vivian. She looked different. Thinner. Tighter. Her dress was red. Too red. The kind of red that says look at me instead of I belong here. She was tugging at the neckline. Uncomfortable. Out of place. Maddox saw me looking. His face did something strange. A flicker. A crack in the general's mask. I excused myself from the senator and walked toward the bar. Not to him. To the champagne. But he intercepted me. "Zara. Maddox. You look different." I took a champagne flute from the tray. Didn't drink. Just held it. "I'm not wearing the mask you gave me, Maddox. That's all." He frowned. "What mask?" "The one that said supportive military wife. The one that said I don't need anything for myself. The one that said my husband's career is more important than my dreams." I set the champagne down. Untouched. I burned that mask. It felt good. Vivian appeared at his elbow. Her smile was back. That medical school smile. "Zara. What a surprise." I didn't know you were invited. Invited. I laughed. Vivian. Honey. I'm on the host committee. Her smile froze. Oh. I didn't realize. No. I said. You didn't. Maddox cleared his throat. How's Leo? I looked at him. Really looked. For the first time in months. I let myself see him. The sharp jaw. The gray eyes. The man I'd loved. The man I'd waited for. The man who'd replace me with a doctor in a cream blazer. He's thriving. I said. Which you'd know if you'd ever called. But you were busy building something real, right? Vivian's face tightened. Maddox's jaw did the same. Zara. That's not fair. Vivian started. Fair. I cut her off. You want to talk about fair? Fair is when your husband of 10 years doesn't bring his mistress to your house to serve you divorce papers. Fair is when the father of your child doesn't disappear for 6 months because he's too busy playing house with someone new. Fair is a concept for children's stories. Dr. Cross. The real world doesn't care about fair. A photographer approached. Young guy. Eager. General Stone. Ms. Vance. Could I get a photo? For old time's sake. Vivian's hand gripped Maddox's arm. White. Knuckled. Maddox looked at me. I looked at him. No. I said. Thank you. But that man is my past. My future is much more interesting. I turned and walked away. Didn't look back. Didn't falter. The cape billowed behind me. I'd designed it that way. For exits exactly like this one. Marcus found me by the dessert table. That was cold. He deserved colder. He looked like you slapped him. I wish I had. I picked up a chocolate truffle. Bit into it. But I'm saving my energy for more important things. Like what? I swallowed the truffle. Smiled. Like making him watch me win. The next morning. The headlines were brutal. General's ex. Wife steals spotlight. And she's not looking back. Zara Vance. The fashion empress who dares to be happy. Maddox Stone's new woman looks miserable. And we don't blame her. Vivian's face was splashed across the tabloids. That frozen smile. That death grip on Maddox's arm. The internet had a field day. Memes. GIFs. Tweets. 1,000 amateur psychologists analyzing her body language. I didn't comment. I didn't need to. The pictures spoke for themselves. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. I knew it was Vivian before I even read it. You planned this. I typed back. Planned what? Your bad dress. Your frozen smile. Your miserable face. That's all you. Sweetheart. He still loves me. Sure he does. Just like he loved me. Give it a year. I blocked the number. Poured myself a glass of wine. Leo was asleep in his room down the hall. My mother was watching him. She'd moved to D.C. to help. Rented an apartment 3 blocks away. I had a business that was growing faster than I could keep up with. I had a future that was entirely my own. For the first time in 10 years. I went to sleep without checking my phone for a message from Maddox. I didn't miss it. Vivian Cross was not a woman accustomed to losing. She'd been valedictorian of her high school. Summa cum laude at Johns Hopkins. Top of her class at Walter Reed's residency program. She was the kind of person who made spreadsheets for fun and considered emotions a problem to be solved. So when the tabloids turned her into a national punchline, she did what she always did when faced with a problem. She hired someone to fix it. Rick Castellano was a private investigator with a bad toupee and no moral compass. He operated out of a strip mall in Arlington, specializing in the kind of work that made other private investigators uncomfortable. Divorce dirt. Corporate sabotage. The occasional blackmail photo. Vivian met him at a diner off Route 50. She wore sunglasses and a baseball cap. He wore a stained windbreaker and a smirk. So, he said, stirring his coffee with his finger. You want dirt on the ex? Wife. I want her to disappear. Vivian said. But dirt will do. Rick grinned. My specialty. What's the budget? 50,000. Half now. Half when you find something good. Something good like what? Vivian leaned forward. Affairs. Financial fraud. Neglect of the child. Anything that will make her look unstable. Unfit. Anything that will make Maddox look justified. Rick wrote something in a small notebook. Give me 2 weeks. 2 weeks passed. Vivian didn't hear from him. She called his office 3 times. No answer. She started to worry that she'd been scammed. Then, on day 15, Rick showed up at her apartment building. She buzzed him up. He was carrying a manila folder thick enough to be a novel. You find something? She asked. Rick sat on her white couch. Left a smudge. Vivian hated him for it. I found something, he said, but not what you wanted. What does that mean? He opened the folder. Inside were photographs, financial records, birth certificates, a DNA test. Zara Vance is clean, Rick said. No affairs. No financial funny business. No neglect. Her business is legit. Her taxes are flawless. Her son adores her. She volunteers at his school. She donates to children's hospitals. She's practically a saint. Vivian's stomach dropped. Then why are you here? Rick pulled out a photograph. A woman. Young. Brown hair. Tired eyes. Holding a baby. Her name is Lena Vasquez, Rick said. She lives in Kuwait City. Works as a receptionist at a dental clinic. 5 years ago. She had a daughter. Name's Amira. Vivian stared at the photograph. I don't understand. General Stone was deployed to Kuwait 6 years ago. According to Lena, she met him at a bar near Camp Arifjan. They had a brief relationship. She got pregnant. He sent her money for a while, then stopped. Vivian's hands were shaking. You're saying Maddox has another child? Rick nodded. A daughter. Amira Vasquez. Born August 14th. That would make her 5 years old. Same age as Leo. August 14th. Vivian's voice was hollow. That's 3 months before he met me. Looks that way. Vivian stood up. Walked to the window. Her apartment faced the Potomac. The water was gray today. The sky was gray. Everything was gray. Does Zara know? Rick shrugged. Couldn't tell you. But if I had to guess, she's military. Been married to a general for 10 years. She knows how to keep secrets. And she knows how to find them. Vivian paid Rick the rest of his fee. Double what they'd agreed. She didn't negotiate. She just wrote the check and pushed it across the coffee table. Rick looked at the number. Whistled. You need anything else? Surveillance. Background checks. I'm very good at background checks. Get out. He got out. Vivian sat on her couch for 3 hours. She didn't move. Didn't cry. Didn't call anyone. She just sat there, staring at the photograph of Lena Vasquez and baby Amira. Then she drove to the Pentagon. Maddox's office was on the 3rd floor. Corner office. American flag. Photos of him with generals. With senators. With the vice president. The desk was clean. The pens were aligned. Everything in its place. He looked up when she walked in. Smiled. That smile used to make her heart race. Vivian. This is a surprise. I thought you had surgery this morning. I canceled it. She closed the door. Locked it. Maddox's smile faded. What's wrong? She walked to his desk. Set the photograph in front of him. Lena. Baby Amira. Maddox went pale. The color drained from his face like water from a tub. Who is Lena Vasquez? Vivian asked. He opened his mouth. Closed it. Opened it again. Vivian. I can explain. Who is Lena Vasquez? He looked at the photograph. Ran a hand over his jaw. That nervous gesture. That tiny cut on his chin. She was A mistake. A one-time thing. During deployment. Before I even met you. A one-time thing. Vivian's voice was ice. A one-time thing that produced a child. A daughter. Amira. She's 5 years old. Maddox. 5. The same age as Leo. You knew? He asked. His voice cracked. I didn't know. I found out. Because I hired someone to dig up dirt on your ex-wife. And instead I found your secret daughter. Vivian laughed. It was an ugly sound. You told me Zara was the problem. You told me she was cold. Distant. That she pushed you away. You were cheating on her before me. Maddox stood up. Came around the desk. Reached for her hand. Vivian. Listen to me. I was lonely. The marriage was dead. Zara and I hadn't been intimate in months. Don't. She stepped back. Don't you dare blame her for this. This isn't about Zara. This is about you. About who you are. I am a man who made mistakes. You are a liar. Vivian's voice broke. Finally. The ice cracked. You lied to me. You lied to Zara. You lied to everyone. And now you're going to lie to Amira too. Pretend she doesn't exist. Pretend she's not your daughter. I send money. You stopped sending money. Rick told me. You stopped 2 years ago. Maddox had no answer for that. Vivian picked up the photograph. Slipped it into her purse. I'm going to ask you one question. Maddox. And I want the truth. The real truth. Not the version you tell yourself. He waited. What will you tell people about us when you're bored with me? That I was a mistake too. That I was a one-time thing. That our relationship was never real. Maddox didn't answer. Vivian nodded. Like she'd expected that. Like she'd known all along. She walked out of his office. Didn't lock the door behind her. Didn't care who saw her crying. She got in her car and drove. Not home. Not to the hospital. She drove to Georgetown. To an address she'd looked up 100 times but never visited. Zara Vance's atelier was on the 2nd floor of a converted townhouse. The sign was small. Elegant. Gold letters on black glass. Vivian parked illegally. Walked up the stairs. Pushed open the door. Zara was at her desk. Sketching. She wore glasses. Vivian had never seen her in glasses before. Her hair was pulled back in a messy bun. There was a coffee stain on her shirt. She looked up. Her expression didn't change. No surprise. No hostility. Just waiting. Vivian. She said. This is a surprise. Vivian burst into tears. Not pretty tears. Not the kind you see in movies. Ugly. Heaving. Mascara. Running. Down. Her. Face tears. She fell into the chair across from Zara's desk and sobbed like a child. Zara set down her pencil. Closed her sketchbook. She didn't get up. Didn't offer a hug. She just waited. I'm sorry. Vivian gasped. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I didn't know any of it. Didn't know what. Vivian pulled the photograph from her purse. Held it out with a shaking hand. He has a daughter. A child in Kuwait. Amira. She's 5 years old. He never told me. He never told anyone. Zara looked at the photograph. Her face changed. But not the way Vivian expected. Not shock. Not betrayal. Just cold confirmation. I know. Zara said. Vivian froze. You knew. Zara leaned back in her chair. I've known for 2 years. A friend of mine in the military legal office found out. She told me. I confronted Maddox. He denied it. Then he admitted it. Then he promised to take responsibility. She laughed. No humor. He never did. Why didn't you leave him then? Because I thought Leo needed a father. Zara took off her glasses. Rubbed her eyes. Stupid. Right. I thought if I stayed. If I tried harder. If I was better. He would change. But a man who hides one child will hide anything. That's why I signed so fast. I wasn't losing a husband. I was losing a liar. Vivian stared at her. You're not angry. I'm furious. Zara's voice was calm. Too calm. But not at you. You're just the next woman who fell for his performance. I feel sorry for you. I don't want your pity. Good. Because I'm not offering it. Zara stood up, walked to a small kitchenette in the corner of the studio, poured a glass of water, handed it to Vivian. I'm offering advice. Leave him. Not because you're being noble. Not because you're trying to win some moral victory. Leave him because he will do the same thing to you. Maybe not today. Maybe not next year. But eventually. And when he does, he'll make you look like the villain. He's very good at that. Vivian drank the water. Her hands were still shaking. What if I stay? Then you'll become me. Zara sat back down, picked up her pencil. The woman he discarded. The woman he blames. The woman he uses as a cautionary tale for the next one. My ex. Wife didn't understand me. My ex. Wife was cold. My ex. Wife was the problem. Sound familiar? Vivian nodded. Because it did. Because Maddox had said those exact words. Zara started sketching again. Close the door on your way out. And Vivian. Vivian paused at the door. Get a better private investigator next time. Rick Castellano overcharges. Vivian left. She didn't know where she was going. She just knew she couldn't go back to Maddox. Not tonight. Not ever. Maddox Stone had spent 20 years building a reputation. West Point. Ranger School. 2 tours in Afghanistan. A Bronze Star. A promotion to general at 40. 2. He was the kind of officer that young soldiers looked at and thought, that's what I want to be. But reputations are fragile things. They crack under pressure. And Maddox's reputation was cracking. The tabloids were relentless. General Stone's secret daughter. The other woman. Maddox Stone. A pattern of deception. The military wasn't happy. His commanding officer, General Marcus Webb, called him into his office. Closed the door. Maddox, Webb said, I don't care about your personal life. I care about the Corps. And right now, your personal life is making the Corps look bad. Sir, the allegations are exaggerated. I don't care if they're exaggerated. Webb slammed his hand on the desk. I care that my general is on the front page of every newspaper in the country for cheating on his wife and abandoning a child in Kuwait. Do you understand how that looks? Maddox said nothing. Webb leaned back. Fix it. I don't care how. But fix it. Or I'll fix it for you. And you won't like my way. Maddox left the office with his jaw clenched and his hands shaking. He needed to win something. To prove he was still in control. Still powerful. Still the man everyone thought he was. And the easiest way to do that was to take something from Zara. He called his lawyer that afternoon. Pamela Hargrove was the most expensive divorce attorney in D.C. She'd represented 3 senators, 2 cabinet members, and a Supreme Court justice's ex-wife. She was ruthless, brilliant, and utterly without conscience. Pamela, Maddox said, I need you to file for joint custody of Leo. There was a pause. Joint custody. You signed away full custody 6 months ago. I changed my mind. Judges don't like it when parents change their minds. Maddox, especially parents who signed away their rights voluntarily. Then make them like it. Maddox's voice was hard. I don't care what it costs. I don't care what it takes. I want my son. Pamela sighed. This isn't about your son, is it? It's about my reputation. Then be honest with me. Because I can't help you if you're lying to yourself. Maddox closed his eyes. Saw Zara's face at the gala. That cape. That smile. The way she'd looked at him like he was nothing. I lost. He said quietly. I lost my wife. I lost my dignity. I lost the woman I left my wife for. I will not lose my son. Pamela was quiet for a long moment. Then, I'll file the papers tomorrow. But I'm telling you now, this is going to be ugly. Good, Maddox said. I'm very good at ugly. The papers arrived at Zara's studio 3 days later. Certified mail. Thick envelope. Legal jargon that made her head spin. Marcus read them first. His face went dark. He's suing for joint custody. He's arguing that your demanding career makes you an unfit primary parent. Zara took the papers. Read them herself. He's not doing this for Leo. Obviously. He's doing this to save face. To punish me for leaving. To prove he still has power over me. Marcus nodded. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Zara set the papers down. Picked up her phone. I'm going to hire Elena Okonkwo. Marcus's eyebrows went up. Elena Okonkwo. The woman who destroyed the governor of Virginia in that custody battle. The same. She's expensive. So am I. Zara dialed. Hello. Elena. It's Zara Vance. I need a shark. Elena Okonkwo was a force of nature. 6 feet tall. Nigerian. Born. Harvard Law. She wore bright colors and spoke in complete paragraphs. Her office was decorated with photos of her clients. All women. All smiling. All victorious. She met Zara in her conference room. Spread the custody papers across the table. He's making 3 arguments. Elena said. First, that your travel schedule prevents you from providing stable care for Leo. Second, that your business is too new and too volatile to guarantee financial security. Third, that you've alienated Leo from his father by refusing visitation. Zara listened. Didn't interrupt. Here's what I think. Elena continued. He doesn't actually want custody. He wants to hurt you. And he's using Leo as a weapon. That makes him dangerous. But it also makes him predictable. Predictable how? Men like this always overplay their hand. They're so used to winning that they forget how to lose gracefully. We let him push. Let him think he's in control. Then we show the judge who he really is. Zara nodded. What do you need from me? Everything. Every text. Every email. Every missed phone call. Every birthday he forgot. Every school play he missed. Every time Leo cried for his father and his father didn't come. I have a file. Elena smiled. I knew I liked you. The custody battle became a media circus. Every news outlet in the country covered it. General Stone versus the fashion empress. Who gets the boy? The ugliest custody fight in D.C. history. Maddox gave interviews. He sat in his dress uniform and looked earnestly into the camera and said, I just want to be in my son's life. Zara has made that impossible. The public ate it up at first. He was a general. A hero. A man fighting for his child. Then Zara's team started releasing evidence. First, the phone records. 47 missed calls from Maddox to Leo over 6 months. 47 calls that Leo had never received because Maddox had dialed the wrong number every time. Or maybe the right number. But he never actually spoken to his son. Second, the financial records. $0 contributed beyond court. Ordered support. No birthday presents. No school supplies. No contribution to Leo's therapy or medical care. Third, the therapist's letter. Dr. Anita Sharma had been treating Leo for anxiety since the divorce. Her letter stated, in clear clinical language, Leo has never once asked for his father. He does not mention his father unprompted. When asked about his father, he changes the subject. This is not typical behavior for a child who has been alienated from a loving parent. This is the behavior of a child who has already mourned the loss of a parent who was never fully present. The deposition was brutal. Elena Okonkwo sat across from Maddox in a sterile conference room. A court reporter typed every word. When is Leo's birthday? Elena asked. Maddox hesitated. June. June what? I don't remember the exact date. You don't remember your own son's birthday. I remember. It's in June. Elena pulled out Leo's birth certificate. Leo Maddox Vance. Born August 14th. Maddox's face went red. I was thinking of his due date. He was due in June. His due date. Elena repeated. You remember his due date from 5 years ago. But not his actual birthday. The due date is what I planned for. I was deployed when he was born. I didn't get to be there for the actual birth. Because you were deployed. And how many other events did you miss because you were deployed? Maddox's lawyer objected. Elena overruled the objection because there was no judge in the room to overrule anything. She just kept asking questions. Leo's first steps. I was overseas. His first word. She said it when I wasn't there. His first day of preschool. I was at the Pentagon. His diagnosis. When the doctors told you about his arm. Where were you then? Maddox was silent. You were at a poker game. Elena said. With your buddies. I have the receipts. You were playing poker while your wife was in a hospital room. Alone. Learning that your son would need multiple surgeries and years of therapy. Maddox's lawyer called for a break. Elena refused. One more question. General Stone. Do you love your son? Of course I love my son. How do you show it? Maddox opened his mouth. Closed it. That's what I thought. Elena said. No further questions. The judge assigned to the case was Harriet Bloom. 60. 3 years old. 20 years on the bench. Known for 2 things. Her love of crossword puzzles and her hatred of parents who used their children as weapons. She looked at the evidence. She looked at the depositions. She looked at the photographs of Leo. Happy, healthy, clearly thriving with his mother. Then she looked at Maddox. General Stone. She said, I have reviewed your petition for joint custody. I have reviewed the evidence submitted by both parties. And I have reviewed your deposition testimony, in which you could not remember your own son's birthday. Maddox's lawyer started to speak. Judge Bloom held up her hand. I am not interested in arguments. I am interested in the well-being of a 5-year-old boy. That boy has a mother who has provided him with stability, love, and care. That boy has a father who, by his own admission, has been largely absent for the child's entire life. She looked down at her notes. I am denying your petition for joint custody. I am granting full custody to Zara Vance. I am ordering supervised visitation only, and only if Leo requests it. I am further ordering that you pay all legal fees incurred by Ms. Vance, as well as increase child support to reflect your income. Maddox stood up. This is ridiculous. Sit down. General. Judge Bloom's voice was steel. You are not in a war zone. You are in my courtroom. And in my courtroom, you will show respect. He sat. You signed away your rights 6 months ago. You voluntarily relinquished custody of your son. You cannot ring that bell simply because your pride is wounded. This case is closed. She banged her gavel. Maddox stormed out. Reporters swarmed him. General. Any comment? He shoved a microphone away. The camera caught everything. His red face. His clenched jaw. His uniform. Still perfect. Still pressed. Still hiding the man underneath. The clip played on every news channel for days. Zara watched it from her living room. Leo was asleep in her lap. Captain Barnacles the octopus was tucked under his arm. Marcus sat beside her. You won. I know. You don't look happy. Zara looked down at Leo. His little chest rising and falling. His left arm, the one that ended too soon, resting on her thigh. I am happy, she said. But winning against Maddox isn't victory. It's just survival. Leo stirred. Opened his eyes. Mommy, do I have to see Daddy now? Zara kissed his forehead. Only if you want to. And you don't have to decide now. Leo smiled. The gap. Toothed. Sleepy. Perfect smile. Okay. Can I have ice cream for breakfast tomorrow? Zara laughed. It was the first real laugh she'd had in weeks. Absolutely, she said. But don't tell Grandma. Leo giggled. Closed his eyes. Went back to sleep. Zara looked at Marcus. Ice cream for breakfast. That's what victory tastes like. Marcus smiled. I'll buy the sprinkles. The courtroom was packed. Every seat filled. Reporters in the front row. Sketch artists in the back. Military personnel in dress uniforms on one side. Fashion industry people in designer clothes on the other. Judge Harriet Bloom sat at the bench. Her reading glasses perched on her nose. She looked tired. Custody cases always made her tired. But there was something else in her expression today. Something like anticipation. Elena Okonkwo stood at the plaintiff's table. She wore a hot pink blazer. Zara sat beside her, dressed in a cream colored suit from her own collection. Simple, elegant, unshakable. Maddox sat at the defense table with Pamela Hargrove. He was in his dress blues. Medals gleaming. Hair perfectly cut. He looked like a recruiting poster. That was the point. Pamela Hargrove stood up first. Your Honor, the petitioner would like to call General Maddox Stone to the stand. Judge Bloom nodded. Maddox walked to the witness box. Swore the oath. Sat down. Pamela walked him through his career. His service. His sacrifices. His love for his son. General Stone. Pamela said. Why do you want joint custody of Leo? Maddox looked at Zara. His eyes were hard. Because I love him. Because I'm his father. Because a boy needs his father. No further questions. Your Honor. Elena stood up. Cross. Examination. General Stone. You testified that a boy needs his father. Is that correct? Yes. Were you raised by your father? Maddox's jaw tightened. My father was. Present. Present how? Did he attend your school plays? Your birthday parties? Your soccer games? He was a busy man. Busy how? He was a colonel in the United States Army. Elena nodded. So your father was also a military man. Also often absent. Also unavailable for the small moments that make up a childhood. Maddox said nothing. General Stone. Are you familiar with the term intergenerational trauma? Pamela Hargrove objected. Relevance. Judge Bloom overruled. The pattern matters. Continue. Elena walked closer to the witness box. You were raised by a father who was emotionally absent. You became an emotionally absent father yourself. Now you're in court, demanding custody of a son you barely know. Is it possible? General Stone. That what you're really seeking is not Leo's love, but your father's approval. Maddox's face went white. That's ridiculous. Is it? Your father is here today, sitting in the third row. Would you like to wave to him? The courtroom turned. An older man sat in the back. Gray hair. Rigid posture. The same jaw as Maddox. The same cold eyes. He did not wave back. General Stone. Elena continued. Let's talk about Leo's arm. He was born with a limb difference. How did you react when you first saw him? Maddox shifted in his seat. I was surprised, not overjoyed, not grateful that your son was healthy despite his difference. Surprised. I didn't know what to expect. Did you hold him? Of course I held him. Not according to the medical records. According to the delivery room nurse's notes. You stood in the corner for 20 minutes, then left to make a phone call. Maddox's lawyer objected again. Judge Bloom overruled again. General Stone. Did you ever refer to your son as the one? Armed bandit. The courtroom went silent. Maddox's face went from white to red. That's a lie. Is it? Elena turned to the gallery. The defense calls Captain David Reeves. Captain David Reeves was 38 years old. Retired. wearing a suit that didn't quite fit. He walked to the witness stand with a cane. His left leg had been injured in Afghanistan. He'd received a Purple Heart. He'd also received a dishonorable discharge for speaking out against his commanding officer. Now he was speaking out again. "Captain Reeves," Elena said, "please tell the court what you witnessed during your service under General Stone." Reeves looked at Maddox. Maddox looked away. "I was stationed with General Stone at Fort Belvoir for 2 years," Reeves said. "During that time, I heard him refer to his son as the one armed bandit on multiple occasions. Once in the officers' mess, once during a training exercise, and once at a Christmas party, in front of other officers and their families." Did anyone laugh? A few people. Nervous laughter. The kind when someone says something they know is wrong, but they don't want to call it out. "Did you call it out?" Reeves was quiet for a moment. "No. And I've regretted it every day since." No further questions. Pamela Hargrove stood up for cross-examination. "Captain Reeves, you were dishonorably discharged from the Army, correct?" "Yes." "For speaking out against your commanding officer?" "Yes." "So you have a personal grudge against the military hierarchy in general, and against General Stone in particular?" Reeves smiled. It was a sad smile. "I have a grudge against men who use their rank to hurt the people beneath them. Men who mock their own children. Men who abandon their families. Men like General Stone." "Objection," Pamela said. "Non-responsive. Sustained," Judge Bloom said. "Captain Reeves, please answer the question directly." Reeves looked at the judge. "I have no personal grudge against General Stone. I have a professional opinion. And my professional opinion is that he should not be allowed near children." The courtroom erupted. Reporters typing furiously. Sketch artists drawing faster. Maddox's hands were shaking. Pamela Hargrove called for a recess. Judge Bloom denied it. "I've heard enough," Judge Bloom said. "Ms. Okonkwo, do you have any further witnesses?" Elena stood up. "Yes, Your Honor. The plaintiff would like to take the stand." Zara walked to the witness box, swore the oath, sat down. She looked at Maddox. He looked at her. For a moment, just a moment, something passed between them. Not love, not hate, something older, something sadder. "Zara," Elena said, "you've been married to General Stone for 10 years. You've raised Leo mostly alone. Why did you stay so long?" Zara took a breath. "Because I believed in him. Because I thought if I tried harder, if I was better, he would change. Because I wanted Leo to have a father. Even a bad father is better than no father. Right?" She paused. "I was wrong. How did you know when it was time to leave?" Zara looked at the judge. At the reporters. At Maddox's father in the back row. "When I realized that staying was teaching Leo the wrong lesson. That love doesn't mean accepting cruelty. That marriage doesn't mean losing yourself. That a mother's first job is to protect her child, even from his own father." Elena nodded. "One last question. What do you want for Leo?" Zara smiled. It was a real smile. Tired but real. "I want him to know that he is enough. Exactly as he is. With his arm. Without his arm. With everything he is and everything he isn't. I want him to grow up knowing that love is not something you earn. It's something you're given. Freely. Fully. Without conditions." She looked at Maddox. "I want him to know that his father's failure to love him was never his fault. It was always his father's loss." The courtroom was silent. Judge Bloom took off her glasses, rubbed her eyes. "I have heard enough," she said. "I am issuing my ruling now. Full custody to Zara Vance. Supervised visitation only. And only if Leo requests it. General Stone, you are ordered to pay all legal fees and increase child support. This court is adjourned." She banged her gavel. Maddox stood up. His face was gray. His hands were shaking. Pamela Hargrove whispered something in his ear. He shook his head, walked out of the courtroom without looking back. Reporters chased him. General. General. Any comment? He shoved past them. Got into a waiting car. Slammed the door. Zara stayed in the witness box for a long moment. Just breathing. Just being. Elena touched her arm. You okay? Zara nodded. Stood up. Walked to the gallery where Marcus was waiting with Leo. Leo ran to her. Threw his arms around her waist. Mommy, did we win? Zara picked him up. Held him tight. Yes. Baby, we won. Can we get ice cream? We can get whatever you want. Marcus grinned. I told you. Sprinkles. That night, Zara tucked Leo into bed. He was holding Captain Barnacles. The octopus looked a little worse for wear. When I was missing, Leo didn't care. Mommy, Leo said, do I have to see Daddy? Zara sat on the edge of the bed. Brushed his hair back. Only if you want to. And you don't have to decide now. Leo was quiet for a moment. I don't want to. Okay. Will Daddy be sad? Zara thought about the question. About all the questions she couldn't answer. About the man she'd married and the man he'd become. Maybe, she said. But that's not your job. Baby, your job is to be 5 years old. To eat ice cream for breakfast when Mommy says it's okay. To draw pictures of octopuses. To grow up strong and kind and brave. And to stay away from Daddy. Zara kissed his forehead. For now. Yes. For now. We stay away. Leo nodded. Snuggled deeper into his blankets. Okay. Good night. Mommy. Good night. Baby. She turned off the light. Walked to the door. Paused. Mommy. Leo's voice in the dark. Yes. Captain Barnacles says he's proud of you. Zara smiled. Felt tears prick her eyes. Blinked them away. Tell Captain Barnacles I'm proud of him too. She closed the door. Leaned against the wall. Let herself cry for exactly 90 seconds. Then she wiped her face. Walked to the kitchen. And ate a bowl of ice cream. With sprinkles. 2 weeks after the trial. Zara's phone rang at 6 a.m. She almost didn't answer. She'd been sleeping badly. Nightmares about the courtroom. About Maddox's face. About Leo asking if his daddy would be sad. But something made her pick up. Zara Vance. Ms. Vance. The voice was Italian. Female. Old. My name is Francesca Donatelli. I am calling from Milan. Zara sat up straight. Francesca Donatelli. The same. Francesca Donatelli was a legend. The creative director of Donatelli Fashion House. She had discovered Armani's right hand. She had made Valentino's career. She was 70. For years old. Had survived 3 husbands and 2 bankruptcies. And was widely considered the most powerful woman in fashion. And she was calling Zara at 6 a.m. I have seen your work, Francesca said. The adaptive collection. The magnetic closures. The one-handed zippers. The designs that do not scream disability. They whisper beauty. Zara's heart was pounding. Thank you. I am coming to Washington next week. I want to meet you. I want to see your studio. I want to talk about a partnership. A partnership. Global launch. Full investment. My name. Your vision. Together. We change the industry. A pause. Do you have the courage for that? Ms. Vance. Zara looked around her bedroom. The piles of fabric swatches. The sketches taped to the wall. The photo of Leo on her nightstand. Yes, she said. I have the courage. Good. I will send my driver. Francesca hung up. Zara stared at the phone. Then she screamed. A real scream. The kind that made Leo run into her room in his pajamas. Captain Barnacles tucked under his arm. Mommy, what's wrong? Zara picked him up, spun him around. Nothing is wrong. Baby, everything is right. Marcus arrived at the studio an hour later. Zara was already there, rearranging fabric bolts, cleaning surfaces, making the space look perfect. You're not going to sleep, are you? Marcus said. I'll sleep when I'm dead. Francesca Donatelli called you at 6 a.m. Yes. And you're not freaking out. Zara stopped, looked at him. Oh, I'm freaking out. I'm just also working. Freaking out doesn't pay the bills. Marcus laughed. Fair. What's the plan? The plan was simple. Impress Francesca Donatelli so much that she couldn't say no. Zara spent the next week preparing. She pulled her best pieces from storage. She designed 2 new gowns specifically for the meeting. She rehearsed her pitch until she could say it in her sleep. Francesca arrived on a Tuesday. She was smaller than Zara expected. Wrinkled. White. Haired. Wearing a simple black dress and flat shoes. But her eyes were the eyes of someone who had seen everything and forgotten nothing. She walked through the studio slowly, touched the fabrics, examined the seams, held a blouse up to the light. Who sewed this? She asked. I did, Zara said. By hand. Some of it. The rest by machine. Francesca nodded. Set the blouse down. Your craftsmanship is excellent. Your vision is unique. Your story is compelling. She turned to face Zara. But none of that matters if you cannot scale. I can scale. How? Zara walked to her desk, pulled out a binder. Thick. Organized. Color. Coded. This is my 5-year plan, she said. Manufacturing partners in 3 countries. Distribution agreements with 6 major retailers. A direct. 2. Consumer website that already has a waiting list of 5,000 people. And a foundation to provide adaptive clothing to children who can't afford it. Francesca took the binder, flipped through it. Her face didn't change. Then she closed it. Set it down. I don't care about your 5-year plan, Francesca said. Zara's heart stopped. What? I care about your heart. Your why. Your reason for waking up every morning and fighting. Francesca sat down in Zara's chair, gestured for Zara to sit across from her. Tell me about Leo. Zara sat, took a breath, and told her. About the birth. About the doctors. About the years of therapy. About the day Leo asked why his sleeve was always too long. About the moment Zara realized that no one was making clothes for children like him. I didn't start this business to get rich, Zara said. I started it so my son could look in the mirror and see someone beautiful. Not someone broken. Someone whole. Francesca was silent for a long moment. Then she smiled. I had a daughter, Francesca said. She was born with a cleft palate. The other children stared. The other mothers whispered. I made her clothes that hid nothing and celebrated everything. She died when she was 12. Leukemia. Zara's throat tightened. I'm so sorry. She would have loved your designs. Francesca stood up. I will invest. $10 million. Full partnership. Global launch. One condition. What condition? Francesca looked at her. You must never apologize for what you have built. Not to me. Not to your investors. Not to the man who left you. Do you understand? Zara stood up, looked Francesca in the eye. I understand. Good. Francesca extended her hand. Then we have a deal. They shook. The partnership made headlines around the world. Fashion icon backs D.C. Designer. Zara Vance. From military wife to fashion empress. Donatelli's boldest bet yet. Zara was everywhere. Magazine covers. Television interviews. A spread in Vogue that made Marcus cry when he saw it. And Maddox watched it all from his rented Arlington apartment. His career was in shambles. The investigation into his conduct was ongoing. He'd been stripped of his command. His friends had stopped returning his calls. Vivian had moved to California. A new job. A new life. A new man whose name Maddox didn't know. He was alone. He scrolled through Zara's Instagram. Saw her at the Donatelli flagship in Milan. Saw her on a yacht in Lake Como. Saw her laughing with Leo. Holding him up to see the Eiffel Tower. Kissing his head in front of the Colosseum. She was happy. She was happy without him. He picked up his phone. Called her number. It went to voicemail. He left a message. His voice was hoarse. Zara. It's Maddox. I know you don't want to hear from me. I know I don't deserve to hear from you. But I need you to know something. I still love you. I never stopped. I was just too much of a coward to say it. He hung up. Stared at the phone. 20 minutes later. It buzzed. A text from Zara. I got your message. I played it for Marcus. We both laughed. Then I deleted it. Don't call again. Maddox read the text 3 times. Then he set the phone down. Poured himself a drink. Drank it alone. In Milan. Zara put her phone away. Looked out at the city. The lights. The life. The future. Marcus handed her a glass of champagne. Everything okay? Zara smiled. Everything is perfect. The global launch party was at the Kennedy Center. Not the side hall. Not the basement. The main hall. The one with the chandeliers and the marble floors and the history. Every powerful person in D.C. was there. Senators. CEOs. Ambassadors. Celebrities. And Zara Vance. She wore a gown from her own collection. Gold. Silk. A cape that trailed 6 feet behind her. She'd designed it herself. Sewn the final stitches the night before. Stayed up until 3 a.m. because she couldn't sleep anyway. Leo walked the red carpet with her. He was 6 now. Taller. More confident. His left sleeve was tailored perfectly. A design feature. Not a flaw. He wore a tiny tuxedo with magnetic closures that he could fasten himself. The photographers went wild. Leo. Over here. Zara. Smile. Zara smiled. Leo waved. Captain Barnacles was tucked into his pocket. One eye missing. Still loved. Inside. The party was everything she'd dreamed. Champagne. Music. 1,000 conversations about fashion and politics and the future. Marcus found her by the dessert table. You did it. We did it. No. I mean, you really did it. You took a guest room and a dream and turned it into this. He gestured at the room. The people. The lights. I'm proud of you. Zara hugged him. I couldn't have done it without you. Probably true. She laughed. Punched his arm. Modest. Halfway through the night. A security guard approached. Ms. Vance. There's a man outside demanding to see you. Says his name is Maddox. Zara's smile faded. Is he alone? Yes. Ma'am. And he's not in uniform. Zara thought about refusing. About letting him stand outside in the cold. About proving once and for all that he meant nothing to her. But something made her walk to the side entrance. Maddox was there. Leaning against a pillar. He was drunk. Not sloppy drunk. His posture was too military for that. But loose. Raw. Vulnerable in a way she'd never seen. He wasn't in uniform. He was in jeans and a wrinkled shirt. No medals. No rank. No mask. Zara. He said. His voice was thick. You look like a queen. Maddox. What are you doing here? I had to see you. He pushed off the pillar. Stumbled slightly. Caught himself. I had to tell you something. Something I should have told you years ago. Zara crossed her arms. I'm listening. Maddox swallowed. Ran a hand over his jaw. There was no cut this time. He hadn't shaved in days. My father, he said, when I was a kid, he used to tell me that love makes you weak. That the only way to be a man, a soldier, was to cut out the soft parts. And you were the softest part. You and Leo. Zara said nothing. I left because I was terrified. Maddox continued. Not of you. Of myself. Of how much I needed you. Of what it would mean if I admitted that the most important thing in my life wasn't the army or my career or my father's approval. It was you. That's a pretty speech. It's not a speech. It's the truth. He stepped closer. Vivian was never real. She was a wall I built between me and the only thing that could destroy me. You. Silence. The music from inside drifted through the door. Laughter. Clinking glasses. Life. That's the most romantic thing you've ever said to me, Zara said. Maddox's eyes lit up. And it's also bullshit. Zara's voice was cold. Not angry. Just. Done. You didn't leave because you loved me too much. You left because you weren't brave enough to be a real husband or a real father. That's not love, Maddox. That's cowardice dressed up as tragedy. Zara, you had your chance. You wrote the ending. Now live with it. She turned away. Walked back toward the party. Maddox called after her. I'm in therapy. I'm sober. I'm trying to change. She stopped. Didn't turn around. That's good, she said. Change. For yourself. Not for me. Not for Leo. For you. Because until you can look in the mirror and see someone worthy of love, you'll never be able to give it. She walked inside. Leo ran up to her. Mommy. Who was that? Zara picked him up. Held him close. No one. Baby? Just a ghost. Leo looked at the door. Then back at Zara. Ghosts aren't real. Mommy. Zara smiled. Kissed his cheek. Sometimes they are. But they can't hurt you unless you let them. She carried him back to the party. Back to the lights. Back to the life she'd built. Marcus handed her a glass of champagne. Everything okay? Zara took a sip. Looked out at the room. At the people who believed in her. At the future she'd created. Everything is perfect, she said. And this time. She meant it. 1 year later. Zara Vance was on the cover of Time magazine. The headline read, The Empress of Empathy. How Zara Vance Changed Fashion Forever. Inside, the article traced her journey from military wife to global icon. It talked about the divorce, the custody battle, the partnership with Donatelli. It talked about Leo, about Captain Barnacles, about the foundation she'd started to provide adaptive clothing to children who couldn't afford it. It talked about resilience, about reinvention, about the power of saying no to the people who don't deserve you. Zara read the article in her Georgetown apartment. Leo was at school. Marcus was at the office. And she was alone for the first time in weeks. She didn't mind. Alone wasn't lonely anymore. Alone was just quiet, peaceful, a chance to breathe. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Congratulations on the cover. You deserve it. And Zara looked at the text for a long time. Then she deleted it. Didn't respond. Didn't block the number. Just deleted it and moved on. Some ghosts didn't deserve a reaction. That afternoon, she picked up Leo from school. He was talking a mile a minute about a new friend named Jamal. About a soccer game at recess. About a drawing he'd made of Captain Barnacles going to space. Mommy, Leo said, can we get pizza for dinner? We can get whatever you want. Baby? And ice cream. And ice cream. Leo cheered. Zara laughed. They drove to a little pizza place in Adams Morgan. The kind with red checkered tablecloths and candles and candy bottles. And sitting at a table in the back was Dr. Samuel West. Sam was a pediatric surgeon at Children's National Hospital. He was 39. Kind eyes. Warm smile. He'd met Zara at a foundation event 6 months ago and asked for her number. She'd said no at first. Too busy, too hurt, too scared. But he'd been patient, gentle. He didn't push. He just showed up, brought coffee to her studio, sent Leo a birthday present, a stuffed octopus with both eyes intact. Tonight, he was wearing a blue sweater and holding a single sunflower. "Zara," he said, standing up. "You came. You asked." Sam smiled, looked at Leo. "Hey, buddy, I brought you something." He reached into his bag and pulled out a small box. Leo opened it. Inside was a tiny astronaut helmet for Captain Barnacles. "It's so he can breathe in space," Sam explained. Leo's eyes went wide. "Mommy, Captain Barnacles is going to space." Zara looked at Sam. "You're very good at this." "I have practice." He shrugged. "I have 9 nieces and nephews. Gift. Giving is a competitive sport in my family." They ate pizza. Leo talked about space. Sam asked questions. Zara watched them together. The surgeon and the boy. The boy and the octopus. The octopus and the astronaut helmet. Something in her chest loosened. Something she hadn't even known was tight. After dinner, Sam walked them to the car. Leo ran ahead, pretending to be a rocket ship. Sam touched Zara's arm. "I know you're scared. I'm not scared. You're terrified. And that's okay." He looked at her. Really looked. "I'm not Maddox. I'm not going to leave. I'm not going to cheat. I'm not going to make you feel small so I can feel big. I'm just a guy who likes you. Who likes your kid. Who thinks you're the most beautiful woman he's ever seen. Especially when you're covered in fabric scraps and coffee stains." Zara laughed. "That's very specific." "I'm a very specific person." He squeezed her arm. "Take your time. I'm not going anywhere." He kissed her forehead. Soft. Brief. Perfect. Then he walked away. Leo ran back to her. "Mommy, is Sam your boyfriend?" Zara buckled him into his car seat. "What do you think?" Leo thought. "I think he's nice. And he gave Captain Barnacles a helmet." "That is a very good reason." "That's not a no." Zara started the car. Pulled out of the parking lot. "Let's talk about it tomorrow. Tonight, we have ice cream to eat." Leo cheered. Zara drove. The streets of D.C. were quiet. The monuments glowed in the distance. 3 months later, Maddox showed up again. But this time it was different. He was sober. Clean. Shaven. Wearing a plain suit. No uniform. No medals. No mask. He'd called ahead. Asked to meet at a coffee shop near Zara's studio. Neutral ground. Zara agreed. She wasn't sure why. Curiosity. Maybe. Or closure. Or something else she didn't have a name for. They sat across from each other. He ordered black coffee. She ordered tea. "I've been in therapy for a year," Maddox said. "I'm not drinking. I'm not seeing anyone. I'm not hiding anymore." "That's good." "I wrote Leo a letter." He pulled an envelope from his jacket. "It's not asking for forgiveness. It's not asking for anything. It's just explaining. Honestly. Vulnerably. The way I should have from the beginning." Zara looked at the envelope. "Didn't take it." "I'm not here to win you back," Maddox said. "I know that ship sailed. I know I sank it myself. But I want to be in Leo's life. Not because I need to prove something. Because I want to know him. The real him. Not the idea of him. And if I say no." Maddox was quiet for a moment. "Then I'll respect that. I'll wait. I'll hope, but I won't push." Zara took the envelope. Slipped it into her bag. "I'll think about it," she said. Maddox nodded. Stood up. "Thank you, Zara, for everything." He walked out of the coffee shop. Didn't look back. That night, Zara read the letter. It was 7 pages. Handwritten. Maddox had terrible handwriting. Always had. But the words were careful. Honest. Painful. He wrote about his father. About the pressure. About the fear. About the moment he saw Leo for the first time and felt nothing because he'd trained himself to feel nothing. I don't expect you to forgive me, he wrote. I don't even expect you to believe me. But I want you to know that I'm trying. Every day. To be better. To be worthy of the son I don't deserve. Zara set the letter down. Picked up her phone. Sam. Can you come over? Sam arrived 20 minutes later. He was wearing sweatpants and a Harvard T-shirt. His hair was messy. He'd clearly been asleep. What's wrong? Zara handed him the letter. He read it. His face didn't change. What do you think? She asked. Sam set the letter down. I think forgiveness isn't about him. It's about you. What does that mean? It means you don't forgive someone because they deserve it. You forgive them because you deserve peace. He took her hand. Whatever you decide. I'll support you. But don't decide because you're scared. Decide because you're ready. Zara nodded. Kissed him. You're very wise for a man in sweatpants. I have my moments. The next morning, Zara sat down with Leo. He was 8 now. Old enough to understand more than she expected. Baby, she said, your daddy wants to see you. Just for a little while. At a park. With me there the whole time. You don't have to say yes. But I wanted to ask. Leo was quiet for a long time. He held Captain Barnacles. The octopus was missing both eyes now. Leo didn't care. Will Daddy be mean? Leo asked. If he is. We leave. Right away. You don't have to be brave. You just have to tell me. And we go. Leo thought. Then he said, can we try? Just a little. Zara hugged him. Held him tight. Yes. Baby. We can try. The park was in Arlington. Small. Quiet. A few kids on the swings. A few parents on the benches. Maddox was already there. Sitting on a bench. Alone. No uniform. No entourage. Just him. Leo held Zara's hand. Walked slowly. Maddox stood up. Didn't approach. Just waited. Hi. Daddy. Leo said. Hi. Buddy. Maddox's voice cracked. You look so big. I'm 8. I know. I remember. Maddox smiled. It was a real smile. Tentative. Hopeful. I brought you something. He reached into his pocket. Pulled out a small octopus keychain. Blue. Soft. One eye. Captain Barnacles needed a friend. Maddox said. Leo took the keychain. Looked at it. Looked at Maddox. His name is Captain Barnacles Jr. Leo said. Maddox laughed. It was a rusty sound. Like he hadn't used it in years. Can I push you on the swings? He asked. Leo looked at Zara. Zara nodded. Okay. Leo said. But just for a little while. Maddox walked Leo to the swings. Lifted him onto the seat. Pushed gently. Leo laughed. Zara watched from a bench. Her phone buzzed. A text from Sam. How's it going? She typed back. He's pushing him on the swings. Leo is laughing. How are you? She looked at Maddox. At Leo. At the sun setting over the trees. I'm okay. She typed. I think I'm okay. Sam responded with a heart emoji. Then another text. Ice cream later. I know a place with sprinkles. Zara smiled. You had me at sprinkles. She put her phone away. Watched her son swing higher and higher. Watched his father push him carefully. Gently. Like he was holding something fragile. It wasn't a family again. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But it was something. Something new. Something different. Something that might, eventually, be okay. Zara leaned back on the bench. Crossed her arms. Smiled just slightly. The sun set. The stars came out. And somewhere in the distance, a child laughed. That was enough. That was everything. 6 months after the park, Leo started asking questions. Not the easy ones. Not can I have ice cream? Or why is the sky blue? The hard ones. The ones Zara had been dreading since the day she signed those divorce papers. Mommy, Leo said one night, sitting on the edge of her bed in his dinosaur pajamas. Why did Daddy leave? Zara set down her sketchbook. Pat the mattress beside her. Leo climbed up and nestled into her side. Captain Barnacles Jr. clutched in his hand. That's a big question. Baby, I'm 8. I can handle big questions. Zara smiled, ran her fingers through his hair. Your daddy left because he was scared. Of what? Of being a father. Of being a husband. Of being loved. She chose her words carefully. Some people grow up learning that love is weakness. That if you let yourself care too much, someone will use it against you. Your daddy learned that from his daddy. Leo was quiet for a moment. Grandpa Stone is mean. Zara didn't argue. Grandpa Stone is complicated. But your daddy doesn't have to be mean just because his daddy was. He's trying to learn how to be different. Is it working? Zara thought about the past 6 months. The supervised visits. The awkward phone calls. The way Maddox showed up every time. Sober and present. Even when Leo ignored him. Maybe, she said. We'll see. Leo nodded. Snuggled closer. I don't hate him. You don't have to hate him. I don't love him either. Not like I love you. Zara kissed the top of his head. That's okay. Baby, love doesn't have to be all or nothing. You can feel lots of things at once. Confused, angry, curious, hopeful. It's all allowed. Leo yawned. Can Sam come to the park with us tomorrow? Sam has to work tomorrow. He's a doctor. Remember, he fixes kids' bones. Can he fix Daddy's brain? Zara laughed. I don't think even Sam can do that. Leo fell asleep in her bed that night. Zara didn't move him. She just held him and stared at the ceiling and thought about the letter she'd found in Maddox's file. She'd been cleaning out old boxes from the penthouse, the ones she'd never bothered to unpack. When she found it, a letter from Maddox's father, dated 5 years ago, addressed to a young Maddox at West Point. Son, the letter read, I hear you've been crying at night. Cut it out. Crying is for women and children. You're a man now. Act like one. Your mother cried when I left her. You know what that got her. Nothing. Tears don't change anything. Action does. Toughen up or get out. Zara had read the letter 3 times. Then she'd taken a photo and sent it to her therapist. Dr. Miriam Katz. Is this as bad as I think it is? She'd texted. Dr. Katz had responded. This is generational trauma in a nutshell. This boy never had a chance. Zara hadn't told Maddox she'd found the letter. She wasn't sure why. Maybe because she was still angry. Maybe because she was starting to understand. Maybe because understanding and forgiving were 2 different things. And she wasn't ready for either. The next morning, she dropped Leo at school and drove to Maddox's apartment. He lived in a small one-bedroom in Arlington. No penthouse. No marble floors. Just a couch. A TV. And a lot of empty space. He answered the door in sweatpants and a t-shirt. His hair was gray at the temples now. He looked older than 45. Zara. He blinked. Is Leo okay? Leo's fine. I need to talk to you. He stepped aside. She walked in. The apartment was clean but bare. No photos on the walls. No personal touches. Like he was still waiting to leave. She sat on the couch. He sat across from her in an armchair. I found something, she said. When I was cleaning out boxes. She pulled out her phone. Showed him the photo of the letter. Maddox's face went pale. Then red. Then pale again. You weren't supposed to see that. I figured. He stared at the photo. His hands were shaking. He wrote that the week I started West Point. I'd called my mother crying. I missed her. I missed home. I was 18 years old and terrified, and my father sent me that letter instead of a hug. Zara waited. I didn't cry after that. Maddox said. Not when my mother died. Not when I got shot in Afghanistan. Not when Leo was born. Not even when you left. I just stopped. Turned it all off. That must have been lonely. It was the only way I knew how to survive. He looked at her. His eyes were wet. I'm not asking for pity. Zara. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm telling you the truth. For once in my life. I'm telling you the truth. Zara put her phone away. The truth is important. But it's not an excuse. I know. You hurt me. You hurt Leo. You abandoned a child in Kuwait. You can blame your father all you want. But at some point, you have to take responsibility for your own choices. Maddox nodded. I know. So, what are you going to do about it? He was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, I'm going to keep going to therapy. I'm going to keep showing up for Leo. I'm going to send money to Amira's mother. Real money. Not just scraps. And I'm going to stop pretending that the past doesn't matter. Zara stood up. That's a start. Will you tell Leo? About the letter. About my father. Zara thought about it. When he's older. When he can understand that hurt people. But not yet. He's still a child. He deserves to be a child for a little longer. Maddox stood up too. Thank you. For not hating me. I don't hate you. Maddox. I don't love you either. But I don't hate you. She walked to the door. Paused. For what it's worth. She said, I'm sorry about your father. You deserved better. She left before he could respond. In the car. She sat for a moment. Hands on the steering wheel. Breathing. Her phone buzzed. A text from Sam. Dinner tonight. I'm making pasta. Leo approved the menu. She smiled. Typed back. What time? 7. Don't be late. The sauce is finicky. Zara started the car. Drove to her studio. She had a million things to do. A collection to finish. A foundation board meeting to prepare for. A life to live. But for the first time in a long time, she didn't feel like she was running. She felt like she was walking. Slowly. Carefully. In the right direction. The invitation arrived in a cream colored envelope. Heavy paper. Gold embossing. The kind of thing that cost more to print than most people spent on groceries. Zara opened it at her kitchen table. Coffee in hand. Leo already at school. You are cordially invited to the wedding of Dr. Vivian Cross and Mr. Jonathan Hale. Saturday, October 14th. Napa Valley, California. Zara stared at the invitation for a full 30 seconds. Then she called Marcus. Vivian is getting married. Marcus's pause was exactly the right length. To whom? Someone named Jonathan Hale. Never heard of him. Jonathan Hale. As in Hale Industries. As in the guy who owns half of Silicon Valley. Zara looked at the invitation again. That Jonathan Hale. That Jonathan Hale. Marcus whistled. Vivian upgraded. Zara laughed. It was a surprised laugh. The kind that came out before she could stop it. Good for her. Are you going? I wasn't invited. The invitation is in your hand. It's a courtesy invite. The kind you send to your ex. Boyfriend's ex. Wife, because you want to show off how happy you are. Are you going to go? Zara looked at the invitation. At the gold embossing. At Vivian's name in elegant script. No, she said. But I'm going to send a gift. What kind of gift? Zara smiled. The kind that says, I won. She sent a case of champagne. Dom Perignon. The good stuff. With a card that read, To new beginnings. You deserve the best. Zara Vivian called her 3 days later. I got your gift. I'm glad. Why did you send it? Zara was at her studio, sketching a new gown. She set down her pencil. Because I'm happy for you. Vivian. Genuinely. You made a mistake with Maddox. We both did. But you don't have to pay for it forever. Vivian was quiet for a moment. I treated you terribly. You did. I'm sorry. Thank you. Another pause. Jonathan knows about Maddox. About everything. I told him before we got engaged. He didn't care. That's because Jonathan Hale is a grown up. Maddox is a boy in a general's uniform. Vivian laughed. It was a real laugh. Not the practiced one from the gala. You're not going to come to the wedding. Are you? No. But not because I'm angry. Because I have my own life now. And it doesn't include flying to Napa to watch my husband's mistress get married. That's fair. Enjoy your new beginning. Vivian. You earned it. They hung up. Zara looked at her phone. Then she picked up her pencil and kept sketching. Marcus walked in with coffee. Who was that? Vivian. Did you just wish your husband's mistress a happy marriage? I did. Marcus set down the coffee. You are a better person than me. I'm not better. I'm just tired. Zara took a sip of coffee. Tired of being angry. Tired of carrying grudges. Tired of letting people who don't matter take up space in my head. You're evolving. I'm surviving. Same thing. Marcus sat down across from her. Speaking of evolving, Francesca called. She wants to launch a men's line. Zara's eyebrows went up. Men's adaptive fashion. Men's everything. She thinks you can do for men what you did for women. Make them feel seen. Make them feel beautiful. Zara thought about Leo. About the day he'd asked why his sleeve was too long. About all the boys and men who'd grown up feeling invisible. Tell Francesca yes. But I want creative control. I already told her yes. And she already agreed to creative control. You're a good partner. I know. Marcus grinned. Now finish that sketch. We have a men's line to build. The phone call came on a Tuesday. Zara was in the middle of a fitting. A young woman named Destiny was trying on a gown for her wedding. Destiny had been born without her right hand. She'd cried when she tried on the first sample because the sleeve was designed so perfectly that no one would ever know. This is the first time I felt beautiful, Destiny had said. Zara had hugged her. You've always been beautiful. The dress just helps you see it. Her phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen. Unknown number. She almost ignored it. But something made her answer. Zara Vance. Ms. Vance. A woman's voice. Accented. Nervous. My name is Lena Vasquez. I am calling from Kuwait. Zara's heart stopped. Lena, she said carefully. I know who you are. You do. Maddox told me. A long time ago. There was a pause. Then Lena said, I did not know if you would answer. I did not know if you would believe me. I have tried to call him many times. He does not answer. Zara stepped out of the fitting room. Closed the door. What do you need? I need help. Lena's voice cracked. Amira. She is 6 now. She is beautiful. She is smart. But she needs surgery. A heart condition. The doctors here cannot do it. The hospitals in America can. But I do not have the money. I do not have the visa. I do not have anything. Zara's throat tightened. Have you talked to Maddox? He does not answer. He sends money sometimes. But not enough. Never enough. Zara closed her eyes. Saw a little girl with Maddox's eyes and Lena's smile. A little girl who'd never asked to be born. A little girl who needed help. I'll help you, Zara said. Lena was silent. Why? I am nothing to you. Because you're a mother. And no mother should have to watch her child suffer alone. Zara spent the next week making phone calls. Her foundation had connections with Children's National Hospital. The same hospital where Sam worked. She called in favors, called in markers, called in every chip she had. Within 10 days, Lena and Amira had visas. Within 2 weeks, they were on a plane to Washington, D.C. Zara picked them up at Dulles Airport. Lena was younger than she'd expected. Maybe 30. Dark hair, dark eyes. Tired in a way that had nothing to do with the flight. Amira was small. Smaller than Leo. She had Maddox's gray eyes and a scar on her chest from a previous surgery. She held her mother's hand and stared at Zara with the wary expression of a child who'd learned not to trust strangers. "Hello, Amira," Zara said softly. "I'm Zara. I'm a friend of your father's." Amira looked at her mother. Lena nodded. "You're pretty," Amira said. Zara smiled. "Thank you. You're pretty too. My heart is broken." "I know, sweetheart. But there are doctors here who fix broken hearts. They're very good at it." Amira considered this. "Will it hurt?" "Yes, but only for a little while. And then you'll feel better than you've ever felt." Amira nodded. Like she understood. Like she'd been having this conversation her whole life. Zara drove them to a hotel near the hospital. She'd paid for 2 months up front. She'd also arranged for a translator, a social worker, and a consultation with the best pediatric cardiologist in the country. Lena stood in the hotel room and cried. "Why are you doing this?" she asked. "I am the other woman. I am the proof that your husband betrayed you." Zara sat on the edge of the bed. "You're not proof of anything except that Maddox made bad choices. That's not your fault. That's not Amira's fault. That's his. But my son has a limb difference. I spent years watching him struggle with things that should be easy. Dressing himself, opening doors, holding a pencil. I know what it's like to watch your child suffer and feel like there's nothing you can do." Zara took Lena's hand. "I can do something for Amira. So I'm doing it. It's that simple." Lena squeezed her hand. "Thank you. I will never forget this." "Neither will I." Sam met them at the hospital the next day. He was in his white coat, stethoscope around his neck, looking every inch the brilliant surgeon he was. He knelt down to Amira's level. "Hi there. I'm Sam. I hear you have a broken heart." Amira nodded. "It's very broken. I fix broken hearts. It's kind of my thing." He smiled. "Can I listen?" He listened to her heart with his stethoscope. His face didn't change. Professional. Calm. When he stood up, he caught Zara's eye. His expression said everything. "It's bad." Zara's stomach dropped. Sam talked to Lena privately. Zara waited in the hallway. When Lena came out, her face was white. "She needs surgery within 2 weeks." Lena said, "The valve is worse than we thought. If we wait longer, then we don't wait." Zara pulled out her phone. "I'll make some calls." The surgery was scheduled for 10 days later. The best team in the country. State of the art equipment. Every possible precaution. Zara paid for it all. She didn't think about the cost. She didn't think about the optics. She just thought about a little girl who deserved a chance. Maddox found out through a mutual friend. He showed up at Zara's studio the night before the surgery. "You're paying for Amira's operation," he said. No greeting. No small talk. Just the words. Zara looked up from her desk. "Yes." "Why?" "Because she's a child. Because she's your child. Because no one else was going to help her." Maddox's face crumpled. "I should have been the one." "Yes." "You should have. But you weren't. So I did." "I'm sorry." "You're always sorry. This time I mean it." Zara stood up, walked to the window, looked out at the city. "Maddox, I don't need your apologies. I don't need your guilt. I need you to be a father. To Leo. To Amira. To both of them. Can you do that?" He was quiet for a long moment. I don't know. Then figure it out. Because those children didn't ask to be born. They didn't ask for a father who was too scared to love them. They just exist. And they deserve better. Maddox nodded. Walked to the door. Paused. Zara. What? I'm going to the hospital tomorrow. To be there for Amira. For Lena. Good. And then I'm going to come back here. And I'm going to keep showing up. For Leo. For you. For all of it. Zara turned from the window. Don't make promises you can't keep. I'm not promising. I'm just telling you what I'm going to do. He left. Zara stood at the window for a long time. Watched the sunset. Watched the city lights come on. Her phone buzzed. A text from Sam. Surgery is at 8 a.m. I'll be there the whole time. So will you. She typed back. I know. That's why I'm not scared. Liar. She smiled. Fine. I'm a little scared. Me too. But we've got this. Zara put her phone away. Took a deep breath. Walked to Leo's room. He was asleep. Captain Barnacles Jr. tucked under his arm. His face peaceful. She kissed his forehead. Good night. Baby. Tomorrow. We save a life. She didn't know if he heard her. But she hoped he did. The waiting room at Children's National Hospital was beige. Beige walls. Beige chairs. Beige magazines from 2019. Zara had spent a lot of time in hospital waiting rooms. With Leo. With her mother. With friends. She knew the beige. She knew the stale coffee. She knew the particular smell of antiseptic and fear. But this time was different. This time, she wasn't waiting for her own child. She was waiting for her ex-husband's secret daughter. Lena sat beside her, clutching a worn purse. She hadn't slept. Her eyes were red. Her hands shook. She is so small. Lena whispered. So small for such a big surgery. Zara took her hand. The best surgeons in the country are in that room. Sam is in that room. He's done this 100 times. 100 times. At least. He's very good at his job. Lena nodded. Swallowed. I do not know how to thank you. You don't have to thank me. Just be there for Amira when she wakes up. Maddox arrived at 9 a.m. He looked terrible. Dark circles. Rumpled clothes. Like he hadn't slept either. He sat on the other side of Lena. Didn't say anything. Just sat. The three of them waited. Ex. Wife. Mistress. Ex. Husband. A trio that belonged in a bad movie. But the bad movie was real life. And real life was messy. At 11 a.m., a nurse came out. The surgery is going well. Dr. West says another 2 hours. Lena started to cry. Maddox put his arm around her. Zara watched. She didn't feel jealous. She didn't feel angry. She just felt tired. And maybe a little hopeful. At 1 p.m., Sam came out. He was still in his scrubs. Still wearing his mask around his neck. His face was unreadable. Lena stood up. Amira. Is she? She's fine. Sam smiled. It was a tired smile. The smile of someone who'd been standing for 5 hours. The surgery was a success. We repaired the valve. She's in recovery now. You can see her in about an hour. Lena collapsed back into her chair. Maddox hugged her. Zara watched. Sam caught her eye. Walked over. You okay? I'm fine. You're lying. I'm fine for someone who just spent 5 hours in a beige waiting room with her ex-husband and his ex-mistress. Sam laughed. Kissed her forehead. You're a saint. I'm not a saint. I'm just practical. Amira needed help. I could help. So I helped. That's what saints say. That's what people with money say. Sam laughed again. Fair. I need to go check on another patient. Dinner tonight. Only if you shower first. You smell like surgery. I smell like success. Same thing. He walked away. Zara watched him go. He was a good man. A steady man. A man who showed up. She turned back to Lena and Maddox. They were talking quietly. Heads together. Something almost like peace on their faces. Zara sat back down. Picked up a beige magazine. Flipped through it without seeing. Her phone buzzed. A text from Marcus. How's the patient? Surgery successful. She's in recovery. And the parents. Complicated. But okay. And you? Zara looked at Lena and Maddox. At the way Maddox's hand rested on Lena's shoulder. At the way Lena leaned into him. Just slightly. I'm okay. She typed. I think I'm finally okay. Good. Now come back to work. We have a men's line to launch. Tomorrow. Today I'm staying here. You're a good person. Zara. Don't tell anyone. It'll ruin my reputation. She put her phone away. Leaned back in her chair. Closed her eyes. An hour later. They let Lena into recovery. Maddox went with her. Zara stayed in the waiting room. She didn't belong in that room. Not really. She was the outsider. The one who'd paid for everything but had no claim to anything. And she was okay with that. Because when she closed her eyes, she saw Amira's face. That little girl with the gray eyes and the wary expression. That little girl who'd asked, "Will it hurt?" Zara had told her the truth. Yes. But only for a little while. That was the thing about pain. It ended. Eventually. Always. Sam came back at 6 p.m. Showered. Changed. Smelling like soap instead of antiseptic. Pasta. He asked. Pasta. She agreed. They walked out of the hospital together. Hand in hand. The sun was setting. The sky was orange and pink. Amira is going to be fine. Sam said. She'll need follow. Up care. But she's going to live a normal life. Good. Maddox is staying with Lena tonight. At the hotel. Zara nodded. Good. You're not jealous. Zara stopped walking. Turned to face him. Sam. I left Maddox 2 years ago. I built a business. I raised my son. I fell in love with you. I don't have room in my life for jealousy. Then what do you feel? Zara thought about it. Gratitude. That I'm not her. That I'm not waiting for a man who might or might not show up. That I'm not in a beige waiting room. Hoping that this time will be different. Sam squeezed her hand. You're not her. I know. She smiled. I'm me. They walked to the car. Drove to Sam's apartment. Ate pasta. Drank wine. Talked about nothing important. That night, Zara lay in Sam's bed and stared at the ceiling. Sam. Yeah. I think I'm ready. Ready for what? To stop being angry. To stop waiting for the other shoe to drop. To just. Live. Sam rolled over. Looked at her. What changed? Zara thought about Amira. About Lena. About Maddox's face in the waiting room. About the beige walls and the stale coffee and the particular smell of antiseptic and fear. I spent 2 years proving I didn't need anyone. She said. And I don't. I can survive on my own. I can thrive on my own. But that doesn't mean I have to. Sam was quiet. I want to stop surviving. Zara said. I want to start living. With you. With Leo. With all of it. Sam kissed her. Soft. Slow. I've been ready for months. I was just waiting for you to catch up. Zara laughed. I'm sorry I'm slow. You're not slow. You're careful. There's a difference. She curled into him. Closed her eyes. For the first time in years. She didn't feel like she was waiting for something bad to happen. She felt like she was exactly where she was supposed to be. The next morning, she went back to the hospital. Amira was awake. Pale but alert. Her gray eyes were clearer than they'd been before. You came back. Amira said. I said I would. Amira looked at her mother. Lena nodded. Thank you for fixing my heart, Amira said. Zara sat on the edge of the bed. I didn't fix it. Dr. Sam fixed it. I just paid for it. That's the same thing. Zara smiled. No, sweetheart. It's not. But I'm glad you're okay. Amira reached out her small hand. Zara took it. Will you come back? Amira asked. Do you want me to? Yes. You're pretty. And you smell nice. Zara laughed. I can come back. But only if you promise to get better. I promise. Zara squeezed her hand. Then stood up. Looked at Lena. Call me if you need anything. Anything at all. Lena nodded. Tears in her eyes. I will never forget this. I know. Zara walked to the door. Paused. Lena. Yes. Maddox is trying. I don't know if it's enough. I don't know if it will last. But he's trying. That's more than he ever did for me. Lena looked at Maddox. He was standing in the corner, arms crossed, watching Amira with an expression Zara had never seen on his face. Love. Real love. The kind that scared him. Maybe that's enough, Lena said. Zara nodded. Walked out. In the hallway. She passed Sam. He was in his white coat, coffee in hand, looking tired but happy. Amira's doing well, he said. I know. I just saw her. She asked about you. While you were in surgery. She said, the pretty lady will come back. Right. Zara's throat tightened. What did you tell her? I told her the truth. That you always come back. Zara kissed his cheek. I have to go. Marcus is texting me about the men's line. Go. Save the world. I'll save the hearts. She walked to the elevator. Pressed the button. Waited. Her phone buzzed. A text from Leo. Mommy, I drew a picture of Captain Barnacles going to the moon. She typed back. Send me a photo. I want to see. A photo appeared. Leo's drawing. Crayon on paper. Captain Barnacles in a rocket ship. The moon in the background. And next to the moon, a small figure with gray eyes and a smile. Zara stared at the photo. Then she laughed. Then she cried. Then she laughed again. The elevator doors opened. She stepped inside. She didn't know what the future held. She didn't know if Maddox would stay. If Amira would thrive. If Leo would forgive his father. But she knew one thing. She was done waiting. The men's line launched on a Tuesday. Zara stood backstage at the Donatelli flagship in Milan, watching the models prepare. Men of all ages. All sizes. All abilities. Some in wheelchairs. Some with prosthetic limbs. Some with invisible disabilities that no one would ever see. Francesca Donatelli stood beside her, smoking a cigarette despite the no. Smoking signs. She was 80 now. Still sharp. Still terrifying. Still the most powerful woman Zara had ever met. You're nervous, Francesca said. It wasn't a question. I'm always nervous before a show. This is different. I can see it in your shoulders. Zara rolled her shoulders back. Fine. I'm nervous because this matters more than the women's line. Why? Because men don't ask for help. They suffer in silence. They wear clothes that don't fit because admitting they need adaptive fashion feels like admitting weakness. Zara watched a young man in a wheelchair adjust his jacket. The magnetic closures were invisible. The fit was perfect. I want to change that. Francesca took a long drag of her cigarette. You're not just a designer anymore, Zara. You're a revolutionary. Revolutionaries don't get to be nervous. What do revolutionaries get to be? Tired. Angry. Right. Francesca stubbed out her cigarette. Now go out there and change the world. The show was flawless. The critics raved. Vogue called it the most important collection of the decade. GQ said Zara Vance had single-handedly reinvented menswear. The internet exploded with photos, videos, and tearful testimonials from men who'd never felt seen before. Zara flew back to Washington the next day. Leo met her at the airport with a sign that said, "Welcome home, Mommy," in glitter glue. Sam was beside him, holding a bouquet of sunflowers. "You didn't have to come," Zara said, hugging them both. "Yes, we did," Sam said. "You're a big deal now. Big deals get airport greetings." Leo tugged her sleeve. "Mommy, guess what?" "What?" "Baby, Daddy came to my soccer game. He cheered really loud. It was embarrassing." Zara laughed. "Embarrassing how?" "He yelled G-O-L-E-O so loud that everyone looked at us. I wanted to hide." Sam grinned. He also brought orange slices for the whole team. Hand cut them himself. Zara looked at Sam. Hand cut orange slices. Who is this man and what has he done with Maddox Stone? Miracles happen, Sam said. Or maybe therapy. Probably therapy. They drove home. Leo talked the whole way about his soccer game, about his new friend Jamal, about the drawing he'd made of Captain Barnacles meeting an alien. Zara listened, smiled, felt something she hadn't felt in years. Peace. That night, after Leo was asleep, Sam sat beside her on the couch. They were watching some documentary about penguins. Neither of them was paying attention. "I have a question," Sam said. "That sounds serious." "It is." He turned to face her. "I love you, Zara. I love Leo. I love the life we're building together. And I want to know if you see a future with me. A real future. Marriage. More kids. The whole thing." Zara's heart stopped. "Sam, you don't have to answer now. I just wanted you to know where I stand." He took her hand. "I'm not going anywhere. But I needed you to know that I'm all in." Zara looked at him. At his kind eyes. His steady hands. His messy hair that he never bothered to style. "I'm all in too," she said. I need time. Not because I'm unsure about you. Because I'm still figuring out who I am without the fear." Sam nodded. "Take all the time you need." They watched the penguins for a while. Then Zara's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Ms. Vance. This is Lena. Amira wants to know if you can come to her birthday party. It's next Saturday. She said you're the prettiest lady she knows. I told her I would ask." Zara smiled. Typed back. "I would love to come. What does Amira want for her birthday?" "She wants a purple dress. Like the one in your store window. Then a purple dress she shall have." Zara put her phone away. Leaned her head on Sam's shoulder. "Who is that?" Sam asked. "Amira. She wants a purple dress for her birthday. Are you going to make it?" "Of course I'm going to make it. I'm not a monster." Sam laughed. Kissed her hair. "You're something else. Zara Vance." "I know." The birthday party was at a park in Arlington. The same park where Maddox had pushed Leo on the swings. The same park where everything had started to change. Zara arrived with Leo and Sam. She carried a gift bag with the purple dress inside. Handmade. Perfect. Designed specifically for a 6-year-old girl with a scar on her chest. Amira ran to her. "You came." "I said I would." "Look." Amira pointed to her chest. "My scar is smaller now. Dr. Sam fixed it." Zara knelt down. "Dr. Sam is very good at fixing things. He fixed my heart. Now I can run and jump and everything. Everything. Everything." Amira grabbed her hand. "Come see the cake. It has unicorns on it." Zara let Amira pull her toward the picnic table. The cake was pink with purple unicorns. Clearly store-bought. Clearly loved. Lena stood beside it, smiling. She looked different than she had in the hospital. Brighter. Younger. Like a weight had been lifted. "Thank you for coming," Lena said. "I wouldn't miss it." Maddox was there too. Standing off to the side. watching Amira with that expression Zara had seen before. The one that looked like love and fear mixed together. He walked over to her. Zara. Maddox. Thank you. For everything. For Amira. For Lena. For giving me a chance to be a father. I didn't give you a chance. You took it. He nodded. I know. I'm trying to be better. Trying is good. Doing is better. He smiled. It was a small smile. Tentative. Leo told me about Sam. He said Sam is Mommy's special friend. Zara laughed. He did. He also said Sam makes better pancakes than me. Which is probably true. It's definitely true. Maddox nodded. Looked at Sam. Sam was playing catch with Leo across the grass. Easy. Natural. The way a father should be. He's good with Leo. Maddox said. Yes. He is. I'm not jealous. Maddox paused. Okay. I'm a little jealous. But not in a bad way. In a... I wish I had been that man way. Zara touched his arm. Just for a moment. You can still be that man. Not for me. For Leo. For Amira. I'm trying. Keep trying. Amira ran over. Daddy. It's time for cake. Maddox picked her up. Spun her around. She laughed. That sound. The sound of a child who'd almost died and didn't know it. Zara watched them. Lena came to stand beside her. Thank you again. Lena said. For everything. I know this is strange. I know I am the other woman. But you have been kinder to me than anyone in my life. Zara looked at Lena. Really looked. She saw a woman who'd made mistakes. Who'd loved the wrong man. Who was doing her best to raise a child in a world that didn't make it easy. You're not the other woman anymore. Zara said. You're just a mother. Like me. Lena's eyes filled with tears. I don't deserve your kindness. Deserve has nothing to do with it. They stood together. Two mothers. Two children. One man who'd failed them both. But failure wasn't permanent. Zara was learning that. Slowly. Painfully. But learning. The cake was cut. The presents were opened. Amira put on the purple dress and twirled until she fell down. Laughing. Leo ran up to Zara. Mommy, can Amira come to my house sometime? Zara looked at Lena. Lena nodded. Of course she can. Baby, can Captain Barnacles come too? Captain Barnacles goes where you go. Leo cheered. Ran back to Amira. They started drawing something in the dirt with a stick. Sam came over. Put his arm around Zara. You did a good thing here. I didn't do anything. I just showed up. Showing up is everything. Zara leaned into him. Watched the children play. Watched the sunset. Watched Maddox push Amira on the swings. The same way he'd pushed Leo months ago. The same swings. The same man. Different children. Different outcomes. Zara's phone buzzed. A text from Marcus. Francesca wants you in Paris next week. Meeting with a potential investor. Something about a tech partnership. She typed back. Tell Francesca I'll be there. But I'm bringing Leo. She said you'd say that. She said bring the boy. I want to meet him. Zara smiled. Put her phone away. Paris. Sam asked. Paris. With Leo. With Leo. I could come. I have vacation days. Zara looked at him. You want to come to Paris with me and my 6-year-old? I want to go anywhere with you. She kissed him. Right there. In front of everyone. In front of Maddox. In front of Lena. In front of the children and the cake and the setting sun. Maddox looked away. Lena pretended not to notice. Amira and Leo kept drawing in the dirt. Zara didn't care. She was done hiding. Done apologizing. Done making herself smaller so other people could feel big. She was Zara Vance. She was a mother. A designer. A woman who'd been broken and rebuilt herself. And she was finally happy. 1 year later, Zara stood in the middle of her new flagship store on Fifth Avenue in New York City. 3 floors of adaptive fashion, dressing rooms designed for wheelchairs, mannequins with prosthetic limbs, a children's section where Leo's drawings were framed on the walls. The grand opening was tomorrow. Celebrities were flying in. Reporters were circling. Francesca Donatelli was already in town, bossing around the event planners like they were her personal army. But tonight, the store was empty. Just Zara. Just her thoughts. Just the quiet hum of the air conditioning. Marcus walked in with champagne. "You're brooding." "I'm not brooding. I'm reflecting." Same thing, but with better lighting. He handed her a glass. "You did it." Fifth Avenue. The biggest fashion brand in adaptive wear. A foundation that's helped 10,000 children. "You did it." "We did it." "We did it." Marcus clinked his glass against hers. To Zara Vance, the woman who refused to lose. Zara drank. The champagne was good. Expensive. The kind she would have been too scared to buy a few years ago. "Have you talked to Maddox?" Marcus asked. "He's coming to the opening. With Lena and Amira." "And you're okay with that?" Zara set down her glass. Walked to the window. Looked out at Fifth Avenue. The lights. The cars. The city that never slept. "I'm okay with it," she said. "Maddox is not my husband anymore. He's not even my enemy. He's just Leo's father. Amira's father. A man who's trying to be better." "Do you think he's succeeding?" Zara thought about the past year. The therapy. The hand. Cut orange slices. The way Maddox showed up for Leo's soccer games and school plays and doctor's appointments. "He's not perfect," she said. "But he's present. That's more than he ever was before." Marcus nodded. "And Sam?" "Sam is home. Making dinner. Waiting for me to come back." "Are you going to marry him?" Zara turned from the window. "He hasn't asked." "He's going to ask. Everyone knows he's going to ask. Then I guess everyone will find out my answer when I give it." Marcus laughed. "You're impossible." "I'm a woman who knows her own mind." "That's not impossible. That's just rare." The next day, the store opened. The line wrapped around the block. Thousands of people. Families. Activists. Fashion lovers. People who'd never felt seen until Zara Vance made clothes that saw them. Zara stood at the entrance with Leo on her hip. He was 7 now. Too big to be carried. But she carried him anyway. Because she could. Because he let her. "Mommy," Leo whispered. "There are so many people. They're here to see us." "Baby?" "Why?" "Because we did something important. We helped people feel beautiful." Leo thought about this. Captain Barnacles helped too. Captain Barnacles helped the most. Leo giggled. Wriggled down. Ran to the children's section where his drawings were framed. Zara watched him go. Then she turned to greet the first customers. A woman in a wheelchair. Middle. Aged. Crying. "Ms. Vance," the woman said. "I haven't been able to dress myself in 10 years. Your clothes changed my life." Zara knelt down. Took the woman's hands. "You changed your own life. I just made the clothes." The woman laughed. Cried. Hugged her. And that was the pattern of the day. Hugs. Tears. Stories. Gratitude. Zara listened to everyone. She held hands. She wiped tears. She promised to do more. To be more. To never stop fighting. By the end of the day, she was exhausted. Emotionally drained. Physically depleted. But happy. Deeply. Profoundly happy. The after party was at a hotel downtown. Champagne. Music. Everyone who was anyone in fashion and politics and activism. Zara wore a gown from her new collection. Gold. Simple. No cape this time. Just her. Sam found her by the bar. He was wearing a tuxedo. He looked nervous. You okay? Zara asked. I'm fine. He wasn't fine. His hands were shaking. Sam. What's wrong? He took a deep breath. Then he got down on one knee. The room went quiet. Zara Vance. Sam said, I met you 2 years ago at a hospital fundraiser. You were wearing a dress you'd designed yourself. You were talking to a little boy who was scared of his surgery. You knelt down and held his hand and told him that everything was going to be okay. Zara's eyes filled with tears. I knew in that moment that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with you. Not because you're beautiful. Not because you're successful. Because you're kind. Because you show up. Because you see people who've been invisible their whole lives and you make them feel seen. He pulled out a ring. Simple. Elegant. A single diamond. Will you marry me? Zara looked at Sam. At his kind eyes. His steady hands. His messy hair. She thought about Maddox. About the divorce. About the years of feeling small and unseen. She thought about Leo. About Amira. About all the children who deserved better. She thought about herself. The woman she'd been. The woman she was. The woman she was becoming. Yes, she said. Yes, I will marry you. The room erupted. Cheers. Applause. Leo ran over and tackled Sam's legs. Are you going to be my new daddy? Leo asked. Sam picked him up. I'm going to be your new something. Whatever you need me to be. Leo hugged him. Okay. Can we have ice cream? We can have all the ice cream. Zara watched them. Her son. Her fiancé. Her future. Maddox was across the room. He was clapping too. Smiling. Lena beside him. Amira on his shoulders. He caught Zara's eye. Nodded. Just once. Congratulations. His nod said, I'm happy for you. Zara nodded back. Thank you. Her nod said, for finally letting me go. The party continued. The champagne flowed. The music played. Zara danced with Leo. Danced with Sam. Danced with Marcus. Danced with Francesca, who was surprisingly light on her feet for an 80-year-old. At midnight, she stepped outside. The city was loud, bright, alive. Sam followed her. You okay? I'm perfect. You're not perfect. You're human. There's a difference. Zara laughed. Leaned against the railing. Looked up at the stars. Do you think we're going to make it? She asked. You and me. With Leo and the business and all the chaos. Sam stood beside her. Took her hand. I think we're going to have hard days. I think we're going to fight. I think we're going to be tired and stressed and overwhelmed. He squeezed her hand. And I think we're going to be okay. Because we show up. We keep showing up. That's what love is. Not perfection. Persistence. Zara turned to him. Kissed him. Soft. Slow. Full of promise. I love you. Sam West. I love you too. Zara Vance. They stood there for a while. Just breathing. Just being. Zara's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. She almost ignored it. But something made her look. Ms. Vance. My name is Maria. I'm a nurse at Walter Reed. I have a patient here. A young soldier. He lost both his legs in Afghanistan. He saw your collection online. He wants to know if you can make him a suit for his wedding. He said he wants to feel like a man again. Can you help? Zara typed back. Tell him yes. Tell him I'll make him the most beautiful suit he's ever seen. Tell him he's already a man. The suit will just help him see it. She put her phone away. Looked at Sam. Everything okay? He asked. Everything is perfect. She meant it. The end.